Hello and welcome. This is Christine of Kyanite Psychic Services, and today I wanted to talk about what clairvoyance is, as well as what I see when I read clairvoyantly. These are questions that I do get asked often, especially in social situations when people find out that I do psychic readings but are really not sure what it means if I say, oh, I'm a clairvoyant reader, right? So before I dive into this topic, I do want to mention that these are my experiences personally with this psychic sense, and a lot of people are very skilled clairvoyant readers, and they might have different experiences, and all of them are equally as valid. All right, so what is clairvoyance, right? Clairvoyance is a term that means psychic sight or clear sight. And it is one of our psychic senses. So just as we have physical senses, seeing, hearing, taste, touch, etc., there are parallel psychic senses that we use to sense and read information from the non-physical world. Okay? So we don't really use our physical eyes to read clairvoyantly. We use what you might call our mind's eye or third eye, or the center of our head, the space located right behind our eyes, about here, okay? Some people do, for instance, see auras with your physical eyes, but that's not the case for everybody, right? And most of our information comes from, again, this mind's eye, center of the head space when we read clairvoyantly. So for many, it's easier to do this with our physical eyes closed so that you're able to focus on the information that is in your mind's eye. I do want to say that everybody is clairvoyant. If you are a human on planet Earth, you are clairvoyant. All right. It's a sense, many of our psychic senses, we are born with them, but they're not really fully normalized in our society. So you might be using them and have no idea that that's actually what you're doing or using, right? So for example, if you're like me and you're a kid in school and you might get bored while sitting in class, and you just go on a total daydream, perhaps you are on the beach listening to the waves, and then you see, this elaborate scene in front of you, and you've taken yourself there because you were bored in class. Well, you were using clairvoyance, right? You're using your psychic sight to go somewhere that you'd rather be, okay? So that's just an example of ways that you might be able to, realize that you're totally clairvoyant, right? So what do I see when I read clairvoyantly? Well, the main thing that I see are pictures, right? Pictures are a soul language, right? As human beings, we communicate with pictures before we even know how to speak. And it's how we communicated before, us as human beings formed language or languages. It is the language that spirit uses to communicate with us most effectively if we're using clairvoyance, right? So when I'm looking at your energy field, I do see pictures. I do find that what are in these pictures can vary widely, and there's certain common categories of pictures that I tend to find as a reader, right? And that's personal to me, I think, but common with a lot of people. So one of the main categories that I perceive most vividly are colors, just the presence of a color dominating someone's energy field, or combinations of colors, splashes of color, etc. And colors for me and many readers act as cues, right, to signify different emotions, situations, periods of life. For everybody, that's going to be different, right? So red does not universally mean one thing to every single clairvoyant reader, but to me, red means that you're incredibly enthusiastic about something in particular, right? Which will unfold as I keep reading. And different shades of red, for instance, have different meanings to me. So colors are incredibly important as a clairvoyant reader, in my opinion. The other thing that I see predominantly are shapes and movement. So if you take color and then you add shape and movement, that's going to tell you a whole lot about someone's energy field, the situation that they're in, how fast or slow moving shapes and colors appear in my reading space. Those are all really important factors to me and something that I see quite commonly. For instance, if I see, the image of someone inside a box or a cube and they're pressing against the edges, that's pretty clearly somebody that's feeling really trapped in their current situation. So that shape and then the color will also tell me, maybe what that feeling of entrapment, pertains to specifically, right? So that's one way that I'm able to connect and decipher information that I'm reading. The other thing that I see occasionally are, movies, not an entire movie, because that'd be really exhausting for everybody involved, but more like a scene from a movie. So there might be a narrative, or it might be, going back to that beach vacation. It could be seeing a beach vacation in your energy field. And that doesn't literally mean that, tomorrow you will embark on a beach vacation, although that may be the case. And it actually was the case one time when I read someone. But it could, speak to metaphorically to a circumstance in your life. There could be, details in the scene that I'm seeing that are really relevant. So often when I see an entire scene, I'm going to describe it in detail to the person that I'm reading, because there's valuable information contained within it in one way or another, or many different ways, right? So within all that, sometimes if you're seeing shapes and colors, and clarity doesn't come to, me as a reader right away, I'm always playing the role of the investigator. And I think that's really important when you're reading clairvoyantly, to be the investigator. Ask questions, especially, asking questions of my guides. Can you show me more? Can you tell me more? What does this mean? What does that mean? If I'm not, getting that information instantaneously. So reading clairvoyantly is always a collaborative experience with spirit for me. I'm being shown the information, but I'm working with my guides to bring the utmost clarity for the benefit of the person that I am reading. So I hope that this, discussion on what I see as a clairvoyant reader and clairvoyance in general was illuminating to you in some way. And again, I really want to stress that everybody is clairvoyant. We all possess every single psychic sense that there is, along with our physical senses, right? It just, is a matter of practice and commitment to developing, this sense or skill throughout your lifetime, which is something that I'm particularly passionate about. So if you would like the experience of getting a clairvoyant reading and healing with me, I invite you to book a session on my website, kyanitepsychic.com. And I wish you all the best in your journey ahead.